nuts in. You don't know what it's like, man. Holy fuck. Oop, I'm sorry. I didn't really mean that. But you do know what a puck is, right? Hockey puck. You know, it's made of oil, goes onto the ice, and it slides. It's not so bad if the oil's frozen. Leave it there. It'll be okay. We all know it'll be okay. They always tell us in the NHL, National Hockey League, okay, puck, hockey, okay, hockey. In the French language, you watch the hockey game, okay? Anyways, I ended up going to what this was, the mug and David, and if you fold it properly, they look like butterflies all together. I can't fold it, it's hard to show you, I don't have enough light. But this is that flower I showed you before, the mug and David, you see it? So if you go around, it makes hearts, and then these hearts look like butterflies. So we fly away. It's also God's way of lifting us. He takes the universe. This is the way he takes the universe. Takes the universe. And does that too. You put this in there, and the plaquettes are coming from the other side, or this side, or that side, and he closes it in. He closes it in. You see? That's right there. Look at that. What do you got? We got like a funnel. We're being held up in the universe by the funnel. You see, at this time, we can move the universe. You see, the scientists can't see outside the universe because the billions they count is only in dollars. So they can never see outside of it because every time the plaquettes come in, God moves it away in a position that he has to let the natural plaquettes take position to break onto the universe they're coming toward, because if he interferes with the other universe, and the other interference comes with the other universe, we ruin the whole universe, therefore we're out of sight. We're gone. Okay, so he lifts us to where he could, and the rest of us Nami, sue us. We're being sued by the universe, and we have no choice. We have to take no action, but we do take action because we stay inside, and the suing is not so bad, but when we sue the pigs, we're suing them along, or we're not suing them at all, because they don't have a sense, and they make a lot of sense, and the pig was the reason that the Jew couldn't eat a pig, because a pig was to remind us of all the pigs we are. You know what color the pigs are? Most of the pigs, either they're black and white to show one sort of design, which we all know black has many colors, so that's the soul and purity. But the number one pig is actually beige, like man, because all white man is a pig. I don't know about anybody else. I mean, whatever happened over time is because of white man, what he caused. He caused all the trouble. Well, that's what I believe, but I'm white. I don't talk against myself. It's not all white men. I'm just talking in the totality of the time that this began. It was caused by a white man. That's all. Doesn't mean today it's the same thing, because today's not yesterday. Yesterday was yesterday, and tomorrow will be tomorrow, but it's based upon the actions that we commit today that will commence what they call faith. You bring on your own faith. Of course, God gets in between. We're supposed to be one by, and I am one of 140,040,004, 144. My license plates and my 3 cars that I bought in a row, and I couldn't figure it out. The 1 for 1 in excess, that's my license plate now, because I'm 1 for 1, I'm always fair, and there's nothing in excess because of what I'm giving you right now. So we saw what happened. We all know about Canada, where it's CNB and it's AAA beef, because the Canadians have the best beef in town, because we don't beef too much, we're never going to war. Now, where did we leave over? Yes, why was the Jew? What do I have here? Why was the Jewish person the fourth one? Well, it's pretty easy. When you're the fourth team to come play against the other teams, you've already recognized the pitches of the pitcher, and you have an advantage over everybody, so being fourth is actually a lot better than being in any other position at all. When I was born on the fourth day, therefore I got to see the beginning of the first 3 days of the month, because if they were all 3 strikes, I knew some balls were coming. Therefore, I stood up at the plate, and when the balls came, I let them come. And that's why God made man fourth. So I'm reading from this. So we saw the other 3 teams, and we saw the 3 pitches, and he knew there were strikes, like I repeat before. And therefore, he knew what he had to do under this pressure from the pitcher, and he wasn't pouring any water, and he was just pouring out sweat. Because he knew after 3 strikes, the other batter was studying what he was going to do. So we bring on the mythology of the pitcher that was learned by man number 4. Okay, this is the way it goes. Yes, when perfect man came up to play, like I said, I'm going to repeat again, he saw the previous picture of the mythology of the pitcher, and he knew what he was going to swing at, because we all know the hand is quicker than the arm. Well, when the pitcher plays with his hand, and you can't see it, don't you worry. We have the mythology of the pitcher, and we always know it's on the outside and on the inside, and it's too high, and it's on the outside, and it's low and away, and it's, hey, there were 4 men on base. He could have hit a grand slam. He had a perfect pitch to a strike. In fact, he took 2 strikes. You see, I'm not telling you it's story onwards. I'm telling you the Greek way. He took the first 2 pitches as strikes. Then he knew right away he was going to throw it low on the inside, because he was a little tired, so he was going to drop a little bit. Then he figured out he was going to overpower it, throw it up high. Then he knew right now he had a good eye, so he took the chance at a try. And the pitcher missed again, and he saw the pitcher sweating, so he knew right away it was going to be a curveball, because nature is all what he's curvy in the head. So instead of swinging and hitting the grand slam, he walked and knocked in the man. He had the winning run, and he had fun receiving all those pitches, in a total of 9 with the foul balls. He went to the maximum of the grid, and he did what had to be done, and he walked the man home, and he was the hero, and that's why perfect man was number 4. Because he knew what to do, and he didn't even have to take a swing at anybody. Like, I've never taken a hit at all. I've never taken a swing at anybody, and the only thing I swing is the whiskey in my throat. And the only thing we swing is the smell on our back. And we don't have to swing at anybody, because my mouth is swinging out the truth. And you want to know more of the truth? Well, if I brought to you, let me check the time now, 7 minutes. Perfect. Now we have to go back in my book. Yeah, I did write some of this down. Okay, and what I wrote down is that how it works is I'm going to try to show you how the hurricane series works. Can you see this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the letters. Well, that's how they call the names for the hurricanes. And it comes from the east to the west. Okay, it's under the, normally I think they call it always under the east to west, I think is male, and when it comes from west to east it's female. So the next one, since always we finish with a female, the eyebrow is passed and gone. Now we have to have the eye, and that would be the Ingrid, or the engrinding stone. Engrinding from west to east, hitting part of that island in front of the sea of the Gulf, and then that storm goes into the Gulf. And what happens after that? The Jack comes along, the Jack of all trades, and he knows he wants to ingrind himself into Ingrid as they try and they challenge each other, which is the 4 and the 5, which is a 9. And this time the hurricane will win, because there's nothing better than 9, a natural 9 for the hurricane, in which in this time we all know what happened to it. Excuse me, after that we're going to see it. But we all know what happened in the Gulf. Man only got 1, and it was 1 big stone on a pipe, so he had 2. But he had 2 too much, because when Ingrid and Jack come in and they start playing the cards and running around, what happens to that piece of cement that was absolutely nothing in the sea? It will drill a hole right to the bottom. Where the empty space is hollow, it's a cavity. But everybody knows the cavity and the tea is going to rise, because it's gold, it's tea, it's Texas tea, it's Jed Clampett. Has anybody ever watched the Beverly Hillbillies? Jed, clamp it up. Don't tell anybody about the oil, because if they knew, they'll come and get it. And Granny had a secret, and that was the moonshine, because when a star shines and you look at it, the reflection goes in all directions, and you can't actually pinpoint dry on it because it's way too bright. But everybody knows that anything that's bright can shine off a nickel, because a nickel keeps its reflection inside, and it bounces it back, and it uses for the better of the coin. We all know the center of the earth, and I know nothing about science, so what I can be telling you is absolutely both. And I'm telling you what I feel, what I sense that I feel, and the sense that I have is in my mind. And the sense of copper that we plug to the ground is that we connect it to where it came from, and therefore the copper is beneath the ground. And why is it a good ground? Well, that's simple. In order to keep the earth together, you need water to keep it solid together, but there's so little. but we don't actually sense it because it's all up in the sand. So we grab to the ground, and the nickel is a vibrant, and when the penny and the center of the earth are turning together, they make love, and they turn to six. 6 cents, 6 of regular man, and 6 of the regular man, who ends up to be 6 and 4 because he's the perfect man of 4. But the regular 3 is a 6, and the 1 for the win is 11. Again, we win in the game of craps, and I didn't shoot no crap at all. Because when I didn't have any money, I didn't have to speak to everybody. Knew I was sitting home and doing nothing. And if I was at the track, everybody knew when the night was over, I'd spend the rest on drinks or something else to put up my nose because I didn't know too much and I wanted to have a good time. What's wrong with having a good time, eh? There's nothing wrong with it. Anyways, we're going to go back to Igor. Did I do that Igor thing, the telephone? Ellie J, Melly J, Clampett, Lou, Seal, Ball, Lou. Lou is a wolf. Seal is a sound in your car. Ball is a ball. She was loose like a ball and she was having a barrel of laughs and she had orange hair because she was on fire. And then she walked into Mr. Mooney. He was always moody for the money like the rest of the gang. It was a reminder in the 70s what would happen in the third millennium that we're in, because every time you mention the dollar, everybody gets moody. Especially me when my mother comes to me and mentions to me anything about money. I don't want to know. Unless you're giving me a sum or something, then I want to know why, because maybe I don't deserve it. Let me choose on my own, because I don't want any more than I need, and you wouldn't believe me, because you never do, because I want to donate my money, and I want to take one man out of the war, and give him a tractor, and send him over to Africa, and let the government pay the bill, and in fact the bill will be very little, because it'll probably cost 99 cents for the seeds, and the rest of the bullets will come out of the ground for free, as God covers the ground with water, and the juniper bird is the one that spins around, regulating all the spirit jewels that come, and we soak them up inside of us as we eat as children until the day that the first question pops. And what you actually drink in the water is part of the matrix. The spirit comes from the water in the ground, so depending on what you eat is what you're going to get. They say you're made up of what you eat. Is that not true? Is this a true story? This is just the story, the truth. But what it is you are watching it. And that's the truth. Or you don't hear my words. And whatever you think, write me a comment. Like I said, being bipolar and going 1,000 miles an hour, I empty out when I'm on the tube here, and I talk in this language slowly the way they did on the for the reason that I don't want my mind to think any faster than the words that come out of my mouth. Therefore, the mind stays calm if you know how to calm the mind. Calm down, my son, but don't come down to me or anywhere, but try to relax, so use the proper words when you speak. So you will be understood, and if somebody doesn't know or hear, don't think he's an idiot, because you disturbed him from thinking of something else before you opened your mouth. So maybe you should go ting ting or ring a bell or raise your hand till he sees you, and he recognizes and he asks you, what do you want? And then you respond, and he is ready for the action of the hearing. The hearing aid is the aid of you and him working together on the same level. You see, when things are level and even, and everybody understands, although the only thing we can learn once everything is level is that when everything gets bumpy, we have a chance to make it fair and equal once more. I'm not going anywhere else with this video, but just to say that the moon does not shine in 28 different directions. It's in fact looking like a nickel. And if you put a little bit of plastic on the moon, the sun will penetrate the plastic, causing humidity, therefore breaking down the ice particles well enough in time in evolution to plant the first seed where the tree shall grow. And that will be sentiently replaced